Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
Is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The NFL is monitoring the devastating wildfires across several areas of Los Angeles and the potential impact on Monday night's NFC wildcard game between the Vikings and Rams in L.A. Chargers, who are in Houston for Saturday's AFC wildcard game, altered their practice schedule today to limit players' time outdoors. The NHL postponed tonight's Flames-Kings game because of the wildfires. Marquee matchup in the NBA tonight in Cleveland between the East and league-leading Cavaliers and West-leading Thunder. OKC's been winning in a unique way this season, explains ESPN senior writer Andre Snellings.
They've had a big man injured all season, right? Early in the season, Isaiah Hartenstein was out, and so it was just Chet Holmgren holding it down in the middle. Then Holmgren got hurt, Hartenstein came back, and now it's just him by himself. I feel like that's going to work to Cleveland's advantage tonight. They have 2 legitimate all-star caliber big men in the middle.
Andre Snellings on Freddie and Harry. Thunder's won 15 straight. Cavs have won 10 straight. Pelicans resting power forward Zion Williamson tonight against Portland as he continues to come back from a hamstring strain.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Thursday, I'll tell you why Steelers-Ravens is a loser-leave-town game for the head coach. It's Unsportsmanlike, weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride! Go!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
And Mr. Toby Tom Play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Oh, by the way, it's hump day. Yeah.
It's hump day.
Let's hump, everybody.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
First hump day of 2025.
Hump day.
Ryan Ramczyk.
It's hump day.
Here you go.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Not surprising altogether.
Hump day.
But go.
It's hump day.
LSU pursuing a new offensive tackle in the portal.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
We'll tell you who.
Hump day.
After the break.
It's hump day.
No, literally, that'll come up after the first break.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Travis Kelce's in denial.
Hump day.
Taylor Calandro talking booze.
It's hump day.
Scott Kushner feeling the AFR karma for his Tennessee Vols.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Russ Mitchell, hour 3.
Hump day.
All right, we got a ton to do on the show today. Let's begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
So this should come as no surprise whatsoever. As a matter of fact, this was very, very much expected, but now we kind of have some clarity. Ryan Ramczyk, according to Over the Cap, who broke this first, has agreed to restructure his contract, which effectively paves the way for his retirement. And this probably should come as no surprise. Hat tip to Nick Underhill, who was off the bench with Hester and T-Bob. This was on May the 6th, and we've played this audio for you many times since Nick said it. Remember, this was May. This was before this current. This was this past May. And you could shrug your shoulders and say, no big deal. It feels like that's obvious now. But at the time, it wasn't. But Nick said it back in May.
I just don't see him playing again. I just, like, if I had to bet today, you're asking me to go to draft and place a bet on it. Like, I'm betting on him not playing.
I mean, you heard T-Bob's reaction. That wasn't like that was a universal thought, but Nick was the first to say it back in May, and hat tip to him. And even before then, Dennis Allen kind of let us know in March. I believe this was the owners' meetings. It was the owners' meeting in March. And remember, Ramczyk had missed time. He had the knee injury. And this was the update DA gave in March.
I think it still remains to be seen. You know what I mean? At the Combine a few weeks ago, I was feeling a lot better about it. And yet I don't know that I'm seeing as much progress as I was hoping to see, at this point. So I think that still kind of remains to be seen. But here's the cool thing. We got plenty of time.
That was in March. The cool thing was you had plenty of time. A couple months later is when Nick made his comment that he didn't think Ramczyk played again. In June, here was Dennis Allen.
What kind of timeline do you have at this point?
We don't have a timeline.
No timeline in June. He's asked in July. This was the end of July during training camp.
So what about, but still working towards maybe playing again?
Yeah, I think we're going to leave all options open. I don't think anything past this season is off the table.
So clearly one of the things past this season was Ramczyk retiring, and it looks like that's what's going to happen. So to break this down for you, and I don't want to bore you with numbers, but effectively, Ryan Ramczyk, when he signed his extension back in June of 2021, signed an extension that paid him $19.2 million per season. He was the only right tackle at the time paid close to what a left tackle makes. He was the highest paid right tackle in football. Well, he spends all of last season on the PUP list, and many expected he would retire. But here's what they've done. His base this year was $18 million. They've reduced it to the minimum of $1.255 million. So that saves the Saints $16.7 million in cap space this year. Now, the money, that $23 million, is still due. If he were on the roster, he'd have to carry a $29 million cap number. So they've saved a ton of money here. So he'll carry a $12.3 million cap number this year. Again, I know I'm throwing out a lot of numbers. Just understand the Saints this year, by doing this, have brought Ramczyk's number from 29 down to 12.3. So they're saving nearly $17 million. But the difference still has to be made up. And so they'll do that over the next two seasons. So he'll carry an $11.083 million number in 2025, and then $11.9 million number in 2026. So Ryan Ramczyk is still going to count on the Saints' books for the next two seasons. It's just going to be at a much more palatable rate, and it helps the Saints get closer to cap compliance right now. According to Over the Cap, the Saints, with this work done, are still approximately $50 million over the salary cap for 2025. And there's a variety of moves that they'll make, we know, as the Saints go through their annual exercise of restructuring deals. But they're going to have to do that again to get within cap compliance. But here's hoping what we'll see is the Saints commit to younger, more inexpensive players while some of these expensive veteran contracts expire. So there's a couple of ways to look at this. There's Ramczyk's career in total, and then there's what do you do moving forward. Ramczyk played 7 seasons, and he's a 3-time All-Pro. You look at Ryan Ramczyk, and it is really impressive how mostly durable he was until these injuries at the end, the knee injury at the end, caught up to him. As a rookie, started all 16 games. And if you remember when they drafted Ryan Ramczyk, that was part of the Brandon Cooks trade. They traded Brandon Cooks. They got the Patriots first-round pick, which was number 32 overall. They picked Ramczyk. Some bald radio guy told you how dumb it was when you had a right tackle in Zach Strief, why you would spend a first-round pick on a right tackle when you had all different types of needs. Well, in that camp, Zach Strief got injured, missed the season. His career was over, and Ryan Ramczyk started from game one and became your franchise right tackle. A great lesson to say, if there's a great player, great value on the board, you take him. But Ramczyk played and started every game as a rookie, started 15 games in 2018. They rested everybody the final week that year. If you remember, that was the Nola no-call year. Started every game in 2019, started every game in 2020, the COVID year. And then he had the injury in 2021, which cost him 6 games, started every game in 2022, and then the knee injuries cost him in 2023, where he played just 12 games, and then his season was over, or his career was over. So, we're going to look at Ryan Ramczyk as a guy that played 7 years, 3 of his 7 years in the NFL. He was an all-pro. He was very much on his way to a Hall of Fame caliber career, but he's going to be one of those guys that we look back and say, what could have been? A 7-year career that could have and maybe should have been much, much more. But it gives you great appreciation for a guy like, say, Andrew Whitworth, doesn't it? Andrew Whitworth played 16 NFL seasons at left tackle, and in 12 of the 16, he played in every game. There's only 4 seasons where he didn't play a full season. I mean, it's remarkable to be that durable at a position like that for that long when you have a guy like Ramczyk who, after 7 years, his body broke down. So we'll have plenty of time to think about and talk about Ryan Ramczyk and his contributions to the Saints. He'll no doubt be a Saints Hall of Famer. He will undoubtedly fall short of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, having played only 7 seasons, when he appeared at one point very clearly on that path. But now you look forward for the New Orleans Saints, and the answer is very likely Trevor Penning. And this was one of those years where we looked at Trevor Penning starting at right tackle and wondered, could he maintain that spot? Could he prove to be a starting caliber player in the NFL? And I think, if nothing else, what Trevor Penning showed us this year is that while he may not ever be an elite starting player in the NFL, he at least proved that he can be a starting player in the NFL, similar to Cesar Ruiz. But that's the problem you have, is when you got 2 first-round picks on the right side of your line that are former first-round draft picks that are starters, that are really low-level starters. You invested tremendous draft capital in those guys when you did get starters, but you didn't get great players. So that is an undeniable downgrade from Ryan Ramczyk to Trevor Penning. This year, Trevor Penning's offensive grade was a 60. His pass block grade was a 51. His run block grade was a 70. So much better run blocker than pass blocker, as we anticipated, as we knew sort of coming out of school. He was completely incapable of pass blocking as a left tackle. Moved him to the right side this year, gave him some help, and he was better. He did commit 13 penalties. There were 2 that were negated or offsetting, so really 15 times he was flagged this year in 18 games. So, I mean, he was flagged almost every game, but if there is one thing that I think is worth pointing out about Trevor Penning that is a positive, he started every game this season at right tackle. He played 1,081 snaps. You're talking about replacing a right tackle who durability cost him his career. Here you have a guy in Trevor Penning who was injured as a rookie. As a second-year player, was just incapable. But here in his 3rd year, he did become a starter for you, and played and started every game for you. And in a year where every position on your offensive line got gutted due to injury, the spot where you were durable the entire season was right tackle with Trevor Penning. So what's the old adage? The best ability is availability. Well, he was available for you this year. How much better can he get in that role as he gets more seasoned? That'll be the big question for New Orleans. And they'll need an answer, as Ryan Ramczyk, now we know, will retire after just 7 seasons in the NFL. All right, it's After Further Review. Our show open every day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of the New Orleans Saints, the official beer of the LSU Tigers, the official beer of AFR. Listen, this new year, you're going to be watching the NFL playoffs. Make sure you got plenty of ice-cold Bud Light for all of your friends who are going to be over at the house. Or if you're hitting that sports bar, that restaurant, to go watch the sports book, to go watch all the NFL playoff games or the college football playoff coming up Thursday and Friday, make sure you got plenty of ice-cold Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, and, of course, our great partners here with Mockler Beverage, the local distributor, a family company that's been around for 4 decades, now all over South Louisiana. Love telling you about our friends over at Mockler Beverage, and I really appreciate our partnership. So reach for that ice-cold Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR. All right, let me knock out a break, y'all. We'll come back. We've talked a good bit about LSU's portal targets, and I can tell you there is a new player in the portal on the offensive line who LSU's targeting. So we'll tell you about him next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel, two great hotel properties, Watermark downtown, the Renaissance Southtown. Listen, it really just depends on what you might be trying to achieve. Watermark is gorgeous. The Renaissance, a one-of-a-kind right there on Bluebonnet, sprawling hotel. If you're trying to host an event from a wedding reception to a business meeting to an awards banquet to any type of fundraiser, they have fraternity and sorority dances and things like that at the Renaissance in their grand ballroom, which can host up to 500 people. A great place to go have that next event. Call my friend Allison Crump over at the Renaissance Hotel, and you can get that booked and look at their calendar. She always says, we're in the business of saying yes. So whatever event you're having, they can manipulate their space to accommodate you. As we tell you, they host the LSU football program the Friday before every home game. They can host LSU football. They can host you. It's right there on Bluebonnet. It's the Renaissance Hotel.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Got chores that need some extra muscle, but a large piece of equipment is overkill? That's what John Deere compact utility tractors were made for. Powerful enough for the work you need to do. Compact enough for how you need to do it. Find the equipment that's right for you at Sunshine Quality Solutions. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
Thanks to our partners over at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, our new Hump Day sponsor here. Every Wednesday, we'll tell you plenty more about Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. If it is hormone replacement therapy, if it's ED treatments, if you want to feel your best and live your fullest, most complete, your greatest vitality, Goodwood can help. They're right there on Drusilla in Baton Rouge. And, of course, they're interactive. So if you're outside of the Baton Rouge market, they can serve you with the lowest prices, never any contracts. Just check them out online at yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com, Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. We have spent a good amount of time here over the past month really dissecting this LSU portal class and all the needs. And by now, if you've heard me say it once, you've heard me say it plenty. The Tigers have 2 needs left. And as a matter of fact, you don't even need to hear me say it. Brian Kelly said it point blank back on that December the 21st interview when he was meeting with the media. They had Patrick Payton done. They were announcing it the next day. And he said point blank, you'll probably see us address the offensive line and the back end of our defense. He was talking about safety. So what I have told you here, and I've told you on effectively every platform I'm on, from my Locked On LSU podcast or doing hits on other shows, other stations, is that I've been told that LSU has silent commits at offensive tackle and at safety on teams playing in the college football playoff. Some people wonder how that might be possible. As I've explained, just very quickly for those that haven't heard it, there are tampering rules that would prevent a school from contacting a player. But in this era, every player has an agent, a rep, a third party, a family member who effectively goes out and shops their relatives or their clients' services to see what the market may be. And so a lot of these things are done before a player ever really enters the portal because they know what their market is, or at least they know there will be a robust market for that player. I can give you an example. There was a player at an SEC school who that player's agent was very actively engaging members of the LSU staff to try to see if LSU would be interested in their client's services. And it was an offensive lineman. And they engage in those conversations. Well, ultimately, that player elected to never go in the portal, stay at their school. So this is nothing you'll ever hear, and no name that you'll ever hear, because this player never entered the portal. And it might have quite honestly been a situation of the agent playing both sides against the middle just to see who would come up and get the best deal, or just to try to leverage that attention to get a better deal from their current player. I mean, it's the way these things are going. And quite honestly, that's what good agents do. Good agents get the best deal for their client. So all that to say, I give you that context so you understand that even if LSU does have silent commits, I'm using that loosely, quote unquote, silent commits, handshake agreements, verbals from an agent, third party, whatever, for players that are still playing, you cannot get left holding the bag. There's nothing binding there. We talked about it with Tamarcus Cooley. The reason LSU is still actively pursuing Cooley, the safety from NC State, who's visiting Ole Miss today and is supposed to be at LSU on Thursday. The reason they're pursuing that, even though they have a silent commit, presumably, is what if you don't? What if a Bryce Underwood situation pops up? What if that guy does enter the portal, and now all of a sudden when other people know he's in the portal, boom, there's a more robust market? I told you the C.J. Daniels story. A lot of people wondered, why did C.J. Daniels go into the portal? Well, C.J. Daniels was going to Auburn. There was a teammate from Liberty that was going to Auburn. They had made contact through his third party, whatever, and he was going to Auburn. So Daniels goes into the portal. Well, as soon as he goes into the portal, he gets all this interest. He takes a visit to Ole Miss. He ends up at Miami. They made better deals, better offers, better situations, whatever. Maybe he wanted to live in South Beach. I don't know. So I guess the point is, you can't just assume or take for granted that deal, quote unquote, I'm using these terms very loosely, but I think you understand what I'm saying, is going to get done. So LSU is right to continue vetting all possible options, because there's only so many ways that I can say this. You are not kicking off next year against Clemson without adding a safety. Well, Brian Kelly said point blank, it's safety and it's offensive line. Well, look at what they've done at the offensive line. They've added Braylon Moore at center. They've added Josh Thompson from Northwestern, who played guard this year. Now in 2023, he played tackle. 2024, he played guard. And he can play either. But my understanding is, if they do in fact add a tackle, then Thompson will play guard and they'll get a portal tackle. But if they don't add a tackle, then Thompson is capable of playing tackle and would likely kick out and play there. But you'd love to have him at guard. So you're going to continue pursuing tackles. And even if this tackle that you have, you've been talking through the intermediary or whatever of a player in the college football playoff, if that player lands at LSU, fantastic. But what if he doesn't? You got to make sure that you leave no stone unturned. And so today, here on Wednesday, there's a couple of names that have popped up in the portal, some veteran offensive tackles. One is Connor Moore from Montana State in the FCS, and the other is Monroe Mills, who is on his third school and heading to the fourth. Now, I am told that LSU has interest in Moore and not so much Mills. Mills is going to play his sixth season. He's a guy that was a class of 2020 prospect. He originally signed with Oklahoma State, played in one game in the COVID year, one game in 2021, hit the portal. He goes to Texas Tech, plays in 9 games in 2022, 11 games in 2023, goes to Louisville this year in 2024, played in 11 games and played both left and right tackle. He played 260 snaps at left tackle, 306 snaps at right tackle. So a veteran guy going into his 6th year who's played at Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, and Louisville, has 1 year of eligibility remaining. He's in the portal, but I'm told LSU maybe not so much interested in Mills. It's Connor Moore that they're more interested in. He's got 2 years of eligibility remaining. This is a guy who was a smaller guy coming out of high school, about 280 pounds. Now he's up to 6'5", 310. In 2022, again, Montana State's in the FCS, by the way. So he played 3 games and took a red shirt in 2022. In 2023, as a redshirt freshman, started 12 games at left tackle, was a freshman All-American. And then this year in 2024, he played the first 3 games at guard and then moved back to left tackle and started 9 games at left tackle, and he was first team all-conference. So you're talking about a guy now who's got 2 years of eligibility remaining, has started at both guard and tackle, was first team all-conference, was a freshman all-American, and has grown into his body, is now 6'5", 310. There is always the question of, with a player like this, do you wonder about, and you certainly do, but how easy might this player be able to transition from the FCS level to the SEC? And that is a legitimate question, and I don't have the answer, but that's where you say, do you trust your scouting? Do you trust your ability to scout these players and determine if this is someone you think can come in and play? For what it's worth, again, this is at the FCS level, but this year at Montana State, according to Pro Football Focus, his offensive grade was a 76. Pass blocking grade was just under a 70. And his run blocking grade was a 77. To have good run blocking tackles, I think that would probably be beneficial for LSU. Now, again, you're talking FCS to SEC, but that's the guy to keep an eye on, as I'm told. I don't have any insight as to whether or not he's got a lean. My understanding is LSU's trying to convince him to take a visit. So we'll see. But it's a guy with 2 years of eligibility remaining. And the other thing to file away, as we keep talking about all these portal guys, remember, here you're talking about a guy in Connor Moore, 2 years of eligibility remaining. We talked about Donovan Green, the tight end from Texas A&M, 2 years of eligibility remaining. Talked about Tamarcus Cooley. He's got a couple of years of eligibility. He's actually got 3 years of eligibility remaining. But that, he just finished his redshirt freshman year at NC State. Point being, I think Brian Kelly and the staff, Austin Thomas, they're looking at their roster going, yes, we need to add portal guys, but can we add guys with more than 1 year of eligibility so that we're not back in the same spot again after next season where you've got 15 guys that were starters out of the portal that are all gone, and now you're right back in the portal trying to get more portal guys. Can you add guys with multiple years of eligibility that can contribute for you for 2 years while you continue recruiting and building your young depth behind it? I think that's an ideal situation as they strike that balance between your high school recruiting and your portal recruiting. So we'll keep an eye on it. Connor Moore is the name, as I'm told, to keep an eye on, out of Montana State, the newest offensive tackle to hit the portal. LSU's trying to get them on campus for a visit. If they do, we'll certainly tell you the latest as we get it. All right, it is After Further Review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank vinyl siding. They do it all, and they do it better than anyone else. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Y'all, I mean, it is 46 degrees right now. We've had temps in the 20s. You walk by your windows, and you get that draft. You know what that's like when in your house you walk by a window and you just feel that cold draft? Well, that's because you've got air leaks in your windows. If you want to reduce those air leaks to make your home more energy efficient, thus reducing your energy bills, you want energy efficient replacement windows from Relief Windows. Over the life of these windows, how much they'll lower your energy bills, they'll end up paying for themselves. It'll also increase your home's resale value. And remember, lifetime transferable warranty on labor, material, and glass breakage. Let me say that again. Lifetime transferable warranty. You sell your home, the next owner's kid breaks a window, Relief Windows replaces it for free. They'll never be the cheapest, but they'll always be the best. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. All right, glad you're hanging out with us here on this Hump Day edition of AFR presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Scott Kushner in 45 minutes from right now. Russ Mitchell will be here in hour number 3. We'll get to Bourbon Dictionary with Taylor Calandro in 15 minutes. When we come back, we'll go around the SEC as one prominent SEC player has made his announcement that he will return for another season. We'll tell you who next on AFR.
AFR.
As we've told you, our Wednesday shows now are brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Great local company right here in Baton Rouge. Men, if you don't feel like your younger self, if you feel the aging process, if you struggle to get out of bed in the morning, if you struggle to find the motivation to get into the gym, if you get to the gym and you just don't get the results, if you find yourself dozing off in the middle of the day, maybe you're struggling in the bedroom, that's not the way we were meant to live our lives. If you want to restore that vitality, there are ways to do it in 2025. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness is here to help. Lowest prices, never any contracts. You could do the whole thing over telemed if you'd like. It's so easy. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Check them out at yourgoodwood.com. Hormone replacement therapy, ED treatment, and dozens of other services. Check them out online. yourgoodwood.com.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big.
With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
All right, glad to have you rolling along with us here, Hump Day edition of AFR. I'll get the Bourbon Dictionary with Taylor Calandro in 10 minutes from right now. Travis Kelce was on New Heights. Of course, that's the podcast Travis and Jason Kelce do. And they were talking about the the Chiefs laying down against the Broncos, which, of course, that loss allowed the Broncos in the playoffs and kept the allowed the Broncos in and kept the Bengals out. I think I said all that correctly. So there are a lot of claims, my hand's in the air, that the Chiefs tanked to keep the Bengals out of the playoffs. Well, Travis Kelce on New Heights went off. He dropped 4 F-bombs in 3 sentences. I ain't scared of effing nobody. I wanted them in the effing playoffs. I want to slay every dragon one by one like Mortal Kombat. AFC, NFC, give me all of them Mortal Kombat style. I'll go through every effing one of them. Just give them my best effing effort. I ain't scared of a single soul, man. You can understand why I was not allowed to play that on terrestrial radio. But, there's a lot of sayings in life that I like. One of my favorites that I use very often, actions speak louder than words. And this is kind of like when Travis Kelce is dropping F-bombs left and right. Thou doth protest too much. You screaming, dropping F-bombs about how y'all ain't dodging anybody tells me exactly what y'all were doing. Y'all were dodging. Do you realize in his career, Patrick Mahomes has lost to 2 quarterbacks in the playoffs? Do you know this? In his career, Patrick Mahomes has lost to 2 quarterbacks in the playoffs. Tom Brady and Joe Burrow. That's the list. Those are the only 2 quarterbacks. Burrow, in his second NFL season, won the AFC Championship game in overtime in Kansas City. And a year later, was right back there in the AFC Championship game and had the Chiefs on the ropes again. So, yeah, Travis Kelce might have wanted the Bengals in there, but the bottom line is 100 years from now, nobody's going to look back at the 2024 season and see that Joe Burrow had this great year and was left out of the playoffs, and the Chiefs went on to win a championship, say, yeah, but it don't really work that way. We just know Brady and Belichick got 6 rings. 100 years from now, people aren't going to look back at Nick Saban and go, well, he didn't really deserve to be in the 2011 championship game, and 2009, Colt McCoy got knocked out of that game otherwise. You see my point? And then there was the year where they lost the SEC championship game, but still got into the playoff and ended up winning it. You see my point? They're just going to remember dude won 7 natties. No context. So Travis Kelce may have wanted everybody, but the powers that be in Kansas City are smart enough to know we'd rather the rookie in our division, the team that never beats us, we'd rather them in the playoffs than the guy who just had one of the greatest quarterback seasons ever. So, yeah, dog. Actions speak louder than words. The Chiefs tanking that game when you already were going to have a bye in the playoffs tells you everything you needed to know. They tanked the game to keep Joe Burrow and the Bengals out, which, by the way, is 100% the right decision. Because the answer to the test is you're trying to win the Super Bowl. And Joe Burrow not in the playoffs makes your path to the Super Bowl easier in the NFC, and you want that. I mean, you didn't hear Travis Kelce go, man, I wish we didn't have a bye. I wish we had to go play another game. No. You want the bye because it makes your path easier. You have to play one less game, and the whole path goes through your building. Yeah, they tanked to keep Joe Burrow out. Of course they did. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. We are brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, with locations all over, not only Louisiana, 6 locations in Louisiana, but locations from sea to shining sea. If you weigh or measure something, Michelli sells, services, rents the products that you use to weigh and measure. Maybe you've got precision measurement equipment that can't leave your facility or you don't want to leave your facility. No worries. Michelli offers mobile calibration. That was a tongue twister there. Michelli offers mobile calibration. They're mobile calibration labs. They'll come to you, and they can calibrate on site. You can even check out so much of the great information that they have on their social media, like their feeler gauge that they have. It's a must-have tool for measuring small gaps and clearances in mechanical settings. Learn more about it. See all the things they offer at Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com, Michelli.com. All right, Taylor Calandro in less than 10 minutes. Right now, let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Wide receiver Jeremy Bernard will return to Tuscaloosa for 2025. Just wrapped up his first season with the Tide after transferring in from Washington. Thought about going to the draft and said he'll head back to Alabama. He led Alabama with 50 receptions this season.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Devon Booth returning to the Bulldogs for his second season and his final season in college. Second season in Starkville. He is taking advantage of the Diego Pavia rule. Former JUCO guy now has an extra year of eligibility thanks to the Diego Pavia rule. He was third-team All-SEC as an all-purpose player, both as a receiver and a returner this year for the Bulldogs.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
The other Bulldogs are getting a big-time commit. Texas A&M wide receiver transfer Noah Thomas will play at Georgia. Played 3 seasons with the Aggies. This year in 2024, had 39 catches for over 500 yards. He's headed to Georgia, though, to finish his career.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Auburn defensive back Caleb Wooden has committed to Arkansas. He spent 3 seasons with the Auburn Tigers, has 1 year of eligibility left there in Fayetteville. He's played in 29 games across those 3 seasons.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
And Clemson wide receiver Troy Stellato has signed with Kentucky. Spent 3 years there catching passes for Dabo. Most productive season came in 2023. In his career, 66 receptions for over 600 yards. He's headed to Kentucky. Poor Kentucky. I mean, you lose Barry and Brown. You lose your top 2 guys. And you get some schlub who had like 60 catches over 3 years. No doubt. It's going to be awesome, I'm sure. They lose Dane Key as well. I mean, they lost like their... There you go. That is around the SEC. Okay, let's knock out a break. Taylor Calandro will be here for a little Bourbon Dictionary. Get your booze questions in. Email us, tweet us, or text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. A Bourbon Dictionary to wrap up hour number 1 is coming up. And Scott Kushner in 30 minutes. It's AFR.
AFR.
We are brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. It's king cake season, y'all. While the rest of the country's on a diet, we're slinging king cakes left and right, and Rouse's is your home for the best king cakes you'll find anywhere. They've even got the Funfetti king cake. This is a gourmet king cake with the signature Rouse's king cake dough filled with a funfetti whipped mixture. You want to see pictures of it? You can go to Facebook. It's right there. You can see it on their social media. Facebook, Instagram. You'll see the funfetti king cake. Or, I got a better idea. Go to Rouse's and buy one. Instead of looking at it, eat it. Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Your king cake home this king cake season, this carnival season. Make sure you get on by Rouse's. And they always got great deals on everything else as well. Like right now, the value pack meat sale is going on. Get your $10 bundles right now over at Rouse's. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Rouse's, this feels like home.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly...
After further review with Matt Moscona. They're the gang with the slang.
Keep it 100. I don't know what you're talking about.
This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
I don't understand.
All right. Wrapping up hour number 1. Dry January. That's for suckers. Dry January's for losers, for quitters. I'm just kidding. In particular, like, if you have a problem, I really salute you for getting your stuff in order. But I ain't no quitter. Taylor Calandro's with us. How are you, dude?
Hey, Matt. Yeah, I actually drank my first sip of alcohol for the new year like 2 days ago.
Oh.
So I made it like 5 days-ish, 6 days.
When I get home, I'll have a Bud Light with dinner, and I'll have my first sip of alcohol today.
Bud Light with dinner today?
Well, I mean, I drink a beer with dinner every night. I like to have a beer with my dinner. So I get home and I eat factor meals. You know, those like microwavable deals. So I eat a factor meal and I drink a beer. So that's
I did not know that. That's a fun fact about you.
What's a fun fact about me?
That you have a beer with dinner at night. I don't know. It's just
I just like to have a beer with dinner. It's like I go home. I have a very I would say a stressful job, but it's a very intense job. You know what I mean? Like I have to be very locked in mentally and high energy for 3 straight hours. And
yeah, dude.
when I'm done, it's like I need some decompress time. So I go home and I walk in the door, I heat up my meal, and I drink a beer with dinner.
Yeah, I mean, I do this for about 12 minutes a week, and it's stressful. So,
well,
I don't know how you do it 3 hours a day.
Well, I've been doing it for a lot of years, so you kind of
absolutely.
you do something as many times as I've done it. Like you get pretty good at it and pretty good routine and all that stuff. But anyway, So does have y'all felt the effects of dry January?
To be quite honest with you, Matt, I have been moving.
Oh yeah, the big move.
Yeah, I cannot believe you didn't ask me about that.
Well, I was going to get there.
The effects of dry January, I have no idea.
Okay.
I've been so busy. I have been in the stores physically. They have been very slow. It's always like this at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
Everybody's got a great resolution. The gyms are packed. Nobody's drinking. I got triple the population on Peloton bikes every morning for the first couple weeks.
So
and then
good.
I just watch it dwindle and dwindle and dwindle.
That's how it goes, dog.
But it's the same thing with alcohol. You know, everybody else starts real strong. I made it 6 days. I don't know how many days you tried to make it. You probably
None,
didn't make
zero.
it one.
No, I have no desire to. Like, I don't. Listen, I do understand very much that there are people that struggle with alcohol and addiction and things like that. I don't have that struggle whatsoever, but I like to enjoy a drink here or there. I like to have a beer with dinner. If it's the weekend and I want a glass of wine, I'm going to drink. If I want to make myself an old-fashioned, I will. It's just, I guess I don't overdo it, so I never feel like I have to pull back, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, during the holidays, people tend to overdo it, and I think they feel guilty about it sometimes, and that it's a cycle every year. You know, it's the same thing every year.
Let's get to the announcement that some might have missed. So Calandro's, of course, which has served Baton Rouge for nearly 90 years, has the original Mid-City store and then the Perkins store where Taylor was that we tell you all often about. But you all have some news from over the holidays. So go ahead and share it.
Yeah, I mean, it's news to the public, obviously. Sure. But, yeah, so we sold the Perkins location to another store. And we are all under one roof now on Government Street.
Very good.
So, lots of Calandros under one roof. So it should be interesting. But we have some people that are going to be retiring, and there's just going to be some changes. And nothing that customers see, but just some different changes.
Sure.
But same standard operation out of Government Street, and we're all going to be there now.
Well, that's awesome. Because
man, it's different. I mean, the Perkins store, I grew up at Government Street, and then I moved to Perkins. And it's been there for 25 years. But it's a chapter closing. It's weird, but it is what it is. I'm excited to go to Government Street and grow the business over there again.
Yeah, that's really cool, man. Y'all are right down the street from where we are, which is cool too. So we'll certainly pop in and see you over there. But in the meantime, you can get your questions in for Taylor as always here on Bourbon Dictionary. We always ask you to get your booze questions in so you can fire away. You may not have some of these answers, but we'll get to them anyway. Scott said, "Hey Taylor, any good barrel-proof bottles in the store?" I don't know.
Well, actually, we did have some Bookers at Perkins that I took. That's in the back. There's going to be some good stuff, some good barrel-proof stuff. I mean, there's always good barrel-proof stuff on the shelf, but some good barrel-proof stuff in the near future at Government Street.
Love that, man. Let's see. Brandon said, ask Taylor, are we still in the allocation period that more whiskeys are being released and distributed?
The only allocations that are being released and distributed right now are the ones that lagged in October, November, and December. I don't think Baton Rouge has really seen a Weller drop yet.
Yeah.
There's a few others, and this happens. It always happens every year where we do get stuff in January and early February, and it's not completely dead. We always get stuff, but it certainly slows down this time of year.
Grayson said, hey, Taylor, Happy New Year. Do you have any of the Knob Creek Bourbon and Rye 113 proof in stock?
No, we don't. That's been a hard one to keep in stock. It's very good. It's very inexpensive. I think it's still $45-$50. And it's new, which is a new thing. But I really think Jim Beam knocked it out the park with that one.
And is this the first year they released that?
Yep, it's the first time they've done it.
Yeah.
They're starting to do different things at Beam. Freddie is getting more involved, and he's about my age, so he's got a little more inhibition than his father currently, who's easing out, I think. So.
All right, let's see if we can get maybe one more in there. Taylor's with us, of course, courtesy of the JimsFirearms.net hotline. Sean said, ask Taylor, I got my dad and brother the Knob Creek Bourbon and Rye. Well, there's another one, the Knob Creek Bourbon and Rye. How did I do?
You did fantastic. I've talked about it on the show several times, and like I said, it's very inexpensive as far as bourbon goes. It's really good proof, in my opinion, and it's just a really good little drink.
Taylor Calandro, the Wine and Spirits Director over at Calandro's. Of course, now you can catch him Mid-City there on Government Street with us every Wednesday here to answer all your booze questions. What will be your first beer? Your first craft beer that you like to drink?
Me?
Well, yeah, I mean, after Dry January.
Oh, man, I'm obsessed with West Coast Ghost from Parrish right now.
Okay.
It's literally like my favorite beer they've put out in a very long time.
Love it.
And it's one of my favorite beers currently out. So it's just a little bit lighter than regular Ghost, a little bit crisper. There's something I really like about it. I don't know what it is. I can't really put my nose on it, but yeah.
I'll have to snag one. Taylor, we appreciate it, man. We'll talk next week.
All right, man. See you. Thanks.
Be well. That's Taylor. It's after further review. Presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. We're not going to break. Sports Center's coming up. We will talk about LSU's disappointing night in Como when we return. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawbillsTire.com. ShawbillsTire.com with locations all over South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you at ShawbillsTire.com because you will find name brand tires at wholesale prices when you shop at Shawbills. And listen, if you need tires, and we all get there eventually. I told you just a couple of weeks before Christmas, Erica was going to run to the UPS store. She turned into the parking lot, misjudged the curb. Boom! Tire exploded. Had to buy a new tire. Took it to Shawbills. Did awesome. They matched it with the other 3 tires. She got a relatively new vehicle from South Point within the last year, so the tires were still new. So we had to match it. They did a great job matching the tire that she already had. In and out, we got a great price. They'll take great care of you. So if you're interested in getting the best tires on the road at the cheapest price possible, and who wouldn't be interested in that, make sure you go to Shawbills, go to the website, get all the dealer specials, ShawbillsTire.com. Shawbills, we keep you rolling.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Got chores that need some extra muscle, but a large piece of equipment is overkill? That's what John Deere compact utility tractors were made for. Powerful enough for the work you need to do. Compact enough for how you need to do it. Find the equipment that's right for you at Sunshine Quality Solutions. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps are held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The NFL is monitoring the devastating wildfires across several areas of Los Angeles and the potential impact for Monday night's NFC wildcard game between the Vikings and Rams in L.A. Chargers, who visit the Texans in Saturday's AFC wildcard game, altered their practice schedule today to limit players' time outdoors. NHL postponed tonight's Flames-Kings game because of the wildfires. Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts took part in the first practice of the week. Level of participation not yet known. He does need to clear concussion protocol to play in Sunday's NFC wildcard game versus the Packers. If he plays, Philly likely tweets its game plan, says ESPN's Dominique Foxworth.
You take certain things out of the playbook. You're a little bit more hesitant. And it's particularly interesting for this team because they are very much predicated on his running ability and the sneak, the tush push ability, which is like you put your head in that, like that fourth down in the red zone. Those are key places for this team to have success, and they are all dependent on Jalen Hurts' athleticism.
NBA Magic star Paolo Banchero expected to return from a torn oblique tomorrow or Friday.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Thursday, I'll tell you why Steelers-Ravens is a loser-leave-town game for the head coach. It's Unsportsmanlike, weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride! Go!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. I'm Matt.
You're a loser!
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Mr. Toby Tom Plate. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Scott Kushner here in about a dozen minutes from right now. We'll talk some Pels because they're interesting. They'd won 2 in a row, and Zion came back, and they lost. But Zion played well, and now Zion's going to sit out tonight because, of course. But I do have to take – we reached out to Kushner yesterday to have him on the show. And Muse, he ghosted you?
Yeah, he was just really busy yesterday with some stuff.
You can be busy.
Yeah.
And you can decline.
Yeah.
But did you get a reply?
No, not till this morning.
So what do we call that? Ghosting. Yeah, you can say it.
I mean, kind of.
No, he ghosted you. So you could say, hey, really busy today, another time.
Yeah.
Did you reach out to Todd Graffinini yesterday?
Did reach out to Graf.
And did Graf reply?
Graf did reply.
What did Graf say?
Said, Happy New Year. Sorry, homie, can't. Got some TV hits to do.
All good. Happens.
Yeah, you're right.
Totally understand that. Yeah, you're right, Graf. Love you. But I'll remind you of this, Muse. AFR karma is something, while not scientific, we have examined over the years to have some validity. In 2016, Alex Bregman came on. It's when he had been drafted second overall. He was in the minors. He was in AA Corpus Christi, and he came on the show every Tuesday. And every single time Bregman came on the show, he hit a homer. The legend of AFR Karma grew such to the point that at one point during his career, when Mikey Matuk was slumping, Mikey called me and said, "Hey, I heard going on your show helps. Can I please come on your show? I'm dead."
Baseball guys, I love them so much.
Hand to God. Matuk, while in professional baseball, said, "Can I please come on your show? I heard AFR Karma is like a real thing." Yes. Hashtag baseball guys.
I love it.
But as we know, Scott Kushner also is a Tennessee Vol.
For life.
He's a VFL. It's been a pretty good run for Tennessee.
It has, man. They're hot.
Made the college football, won a baseball natty, made the college football playoff in football. And today, not for long, but today, they're ranked number 1 in the country in basketball, men's basketball. Hey, Muse, what happened to Tennessee last night?
They lost.
Oh, did they? They lost?
They did to Florida.
AFR Karma. You see, you don't come on AFR and your Vols lose.
By 30.
Oh, by how many?
Yeah, 73 to 43.
Yeah, by 30.
By 30.
What? You got the box score open? Look up Tennessee's 3-point statistic.
Here you go. Tennessee from the 3-point line last night, 13.8%.
Hey, how you doing? What were they? Something like 7 of 30, something like that?
4 out of 29.
4 out of 20. Excuse me.
Shot 21% overall in the game from the floor.
How you doing? There you go. You know what we call that?
What do we call that?
What do we call that, Muse?
AFR Karma.
You damn right. Take that, Kushner. Next time, answer your text. But Kush will be here with us here in about 10 minutes. About 10 minutes. He'll be here.
Got it.
You know what he's hoping to get is a little AFR Karma
Get
the
it
next
back on
time
the
the
track,
Vols
get it back
go
on
back
track,
out.
yeah.
Who do the Vols play next?
The Vols next up. One more backspace there. The Vols next up have Texas. They're in Austin. Traveling to Austin.
Road game and conference.
Yeah.
See how you do there, Kushner. See if we can get you a little AFR Karma for your Vols.
I don't really want to give the Vols AFR Karma. I don't.
LSU basketball got pounded at Missouri yesterday. Missouri had not won a conference game in almost 2 years. March 4th of 2023 was the last time Missouri won an SEC game. They lost every SEC game last year and lost their first game of this year. They were on a 19-game SEC losing streak, and you can tell by the tone of the final call how this one went for LSU there over 40 minutes in Columbia.
Mitchell with 3 on the shot clock, just driving. Now a shot from 3 by Robinson won't go. Carter with a rebound, but the horn will sound, and this one is in the books. Missouri moves to 1-1 in SEC play, while LSU falls to 0-2. First time this season the Tigers have suffered back-to-back losses.
Chris Blair on the call, LSU Sports Radio Network. It was never really close. LSU. I'm not going to talk about this game, by the way. I don't think anybody cares about the nuance of this game. It's more of a program question at this point. LSU was up 2-0. They never led again. Double-digit turnovers in the first half led to 15 first-half points off turnovers for Missouri. You trailed by 15, or maybe 14. You trailed by 15 at half. They ballooned the lead past 20. About 8 minutes to go. LSU had a nice little run, got it down around like 12 or 13. Missouri hit a 3, and it was back to 17, and then it was just what it was. So I think LSU as a program is going to have to decide collectively what they want to be in basketball. Because there are times when LSU men's basketball is good. Right, it's crazy. The LSU basketball, it's like an EKG. The spikes are awesome, but the lows are pretty low. Pete Maravich, pretty awesome. Shaquille O'Neal, awesome. You got some of those mixed in there, you know. But, boy, you got a lot of what looks like it's going on right now. And when this happens, You see, the thing with LSU basketball is people don't get angry, they get apathetic. And that's a problem. Because anger spurs change, apathy spurns disengagement. Well, is it almost baseball yet? That's what everybody's thinking. February 14th, can't get here soon enough. Out of the box. Tigers got a couple of preseason All-Americans. Preseason number 2 in the country by perfect game. Basketball is nothing more than a bridge from football to baseball. Unless if basketball is good. And they're not good. And it's unfortunate because I do think this team is better than last year's team. But the SEC is an unrelenting beast. It's literally the deepest the league has ever been. John Brady was here yesterday and confirmed that. I mean, this is a guy that coached in this league for almost 2 decades. And, I mean, there are no layups. Basketball pun. You would have thought, you'd have thought you could have gotten a couple here from jump with Vandy and Missouri, which didn't win a game in the league a year ago, and instead you're 0-2. And the Missouri game was one of a stretch that includes 4 of your next 5 on the road. So it's not going to get any better. It's going to get worse. It's going to get much worse. And Matt McMahon's not going anywhere, and I don't think he should, by the way, because you had to give him a 7-year contract. Because when he took this job, Will Wade had been fired. You didn't know if there were going to be sanctions. You didn't know if there were going to be a postseason ban. You didn't know if there were going to be scholarship restrictions. You didn't know if there was going to be probation. And you didn't know any of that. So it's like, hey, come take our job. What? So they had to pay him a lot and guarantee him like 7 years. So he ain't going anywhere. And he shouldn't, because I think Matt McMahon's a good coach. But the question is LSU going to decide they want to be good? Because when LSU decides it wants to be good and it throws resources, it gets good. LSU wants to be good in baseball. So they pay for players in NIL, and they pay their coach a lot. And they build the best facilities and all that stuff because baseball matters. LSU wanted to get good in women's basketball, so they went and paid Kim Mulkey, and they won an Addy, and they're going to keep being really good. If LSU wants, if they want to be good and commit the resources to being really good at something, they're going to be really good at it. They've just never made the decision that, they've always been half pregnant with basketball. Let's renovate the PMAC. You know, the crappy old 50-year-old building, it looks like a spaceship. That's the worst venue in the conference. Let's just throw some more paint on that one. Yeah, we'll go get Kim Mulkey in women's basketball, but I'm not going to go get a Final Four coach in men's basketball. It just costs too much. I like Matt McMahon. He may be awesome. A guy like Chris Jans at Mississippi State has proven maybe you don't have to go. I mean, they had Ben Howland there. Chris Jans looks like a better option. So maybe you don't have to, but that ain't Scott Woodward's MO. Scott Woodward's MO is whale hunting, big hire. Ain't doing that in basketball. Spent some money in the portal. Not enough. What do you want to be? You want to be a bridge to baseball? You can be that. Which every now and again, you get a great local crop or something like that. You pop a Marcus Thorne, who's the SEC Player of the Year. You win the league. You're an 8 seed, and you're bounced in the second round. You can be that. Once every 30 years, you have an 06. Okay. Or do you want to be consistently nationally relevant? I mean, I'm not the one that's going to make that decision. But if you don't, this is what's going to happen. You're going to lose at home to Vandy. You're going to go on the road and get pounded by Missouri, which snapped the 19-game SEC losing streak. You're going to go lose at Ole Miss. Might win at home against Arkansas. Might. Probably won't. But we'll see. Got to decide what you want to be. You want to be a contender, or do you want to be a bridge? Do you want to be nationally relevant? You want to be an afterthought in your hometown? That's all about commitment and resources to winning. That's all that is. All right, it's after further review. All right, we'll break. Scott Kushner next, AFR.
After further review.
Brought to you by River Cities, 1 hour air, where they're always on time, or you don't pay a dime, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Hey, remember, when someone shows up at your home in one of those big yellow vans with the giant clock on the side, you never have to worry about who's coming into your home. Because River City's 1 Hour Air does an amazing job of taking care of their people, so they recruit and retain the best people. And when someone's coming to your house, you'll get a call, an email, and a text alerting you the tech is on the way with the name of that technician, a picture of that technician, and reviews of that technician. Like this one from Mark Huber, who said, John was on time, personable, thorough, and quick. I recommend 1 Hour Air and Heating for all HVAC maintenance and service. Another 5-star review for River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
It was great to see him on the floor. A little bit of Russ, which is to be expected, but he was tremendous. His gravity allows guys to get open shots, and he'll continue to get better from here.
But did you see that 360 windmill dunk? Huh? It might have lost, but boy, Zion had a highlight. That's good, right? 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 Victim of AFR karma, Scott Kushner joins us now. How are you?
Fantastic. How are you, Matt?
Awesome. Did you hear my last segment?
No. What happened?
So AFR karma is a real thing. You ghosted Muso, and as a result, your beloved Vols lost by 30 as the #1 team in the country. Take that, Kushner.
We did crack 40 points. It took a barrage of scoring in the last minute of the game, but they did crack 40.
Crazy, man. I didn't see that coming. But I should have, because you ignored us. AFR karma is real. So what this tells you is the
Choosing
fact.
my children over Matt Moscona was mistake number one.
Well, you listen. As I said on air, you didn't have to come on the show, but not replying to the text is what got you. The radio gods went and got you. They pile drived you last night. Anyway, so
totally reasonable.
I know, but thank you for the time today.
Of course.
Okay, so Zion was back. What did you think of how he did?
I thought he looked good. I think this is the best we've ever seen Zion look after. We've had a lot of examples of him having a long break and then coming back, and I think this was the best one.
I thought you were going to say the best he's ever looked. But no, the best he's ever looked after one of his long breaks.
Come on.
Oh, man.
Yes, in the categories of breaks. He's had a lot of these multiple week or month absences, and I think this is the first time he's come out of it and played 25 plus minutes and looked like a professional athlete, and he looked really good. I mean, he's not perfect, and he's never going to be perfect, but he was the star. I mean, he looks like the way you want Zion Williamson to look. They played a pretty good team who had a star who was also playing spectacular, and they were playing without Trey Murphy, and C.J. McCollum was as bad gets. So it cost them a win, but I think in the greater picture, the idea that Zion, can sit for a couple months and come back and look good is at least some sign of growth, right? If nothing else, it's a sign of growth.
Z had 22 and 6 last night. You okay that they're sitting him tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it's the games hardly matter.
Yeah.
Like the actual results of the games mean nothing. If you were to get hurt playing a back-to-back against the Blazers to try to get to 8-30, I would think they're pretty stupid. So I can't kill them for sitting tonight.
Sure. Muse, can you play, by the way, for those, I want to ask you about what Zion said after the game about his future. Can you play number 4 real quick, just for those that missed it? This was Zion after the game on the speculation about his future and why he was out.
At the end of the day, you control the things you can control and accept the things you can't. As a professional, only thing I can do is come into work every day, work hard, and have fun. At the end of the day, get to play basketball for a living. I love hooping. So, me and DeJounte talk about it a lot, not taking this for granted. So, just have fun and work hard.
So, what do you think about the explanation and about his future? Because that's probably the biggest. Tell me if you think I'm wrong, Scott. I mean, Zion's future feels like that is just the biggest decision this organization is going to make for the remainder of this year.
Absolutely. And I think the pressure has really mounted in his absence. I think each game he's not playing is another day that people get frustrated and want a total change. And when you see him on the court, like you saw him last night, it is a lot harder to look somebody in the face and say, you need to trade this guy who still has, I think, 3 years left of his contract. Get rid of him right now. And it's like, that I understand the frustration. I understand that this feels like emotional abuse at some level because he does come in and come out and it never quite feels like it's going to last. But who are the Pelicans ever going to get that's better than him?
Yeah.
And I think that's ultimately the question. And it's like, if he wants to be there, and he's not saying that he doesn't want to be there, then I don't know why you move. But I hear him not giving a full-throated endorsement of I am the leader of the New Orleans Pelicans. I hear what's not being said. But at the same time, it could be a lot worse. I've been around this league long enough to have seen the way that some of these guys act in bad situations. And Zion is not at that stage at this point.
He's on Twitter at Scott D. Kushner. You can give him a follow. Polk and Kush podcast. You haven't done a podcast since that rant podcast like a month ago. You ever going to do another one?
At some point, it's holidays and.
Or was that just your dismount?
It should have been. That should have been the end. I know. I keep waiting for Mickey Loomis to talk so I can lose my mind again. He just won't. He just has decided that nobody needs to hear from him. Is any other executive of a team that's not playing? Is anybody just not talk other than the Saints at this point?
He's looking for his gum. Give him a break.
He's looking for the stacks of the great coaches of all time and how they. Oh my God.
How did that work out, by the way? Chuck Noll and Tom Landry stack up against Dennis Allen. Freaking moron.
Tom Landry, that was great.
When Tom Landry was literally the first coach of an expansion franchise, and we're talking about his record compared to Dennis Allen, who inherited a team that had won the division 4 times in 5 years and was a perennial playoff team. Yeah, let's compare those guys.
Like if LSU's trying to compare back to guys from the 30s when they hire him, and it's like this has no comparison. There's nothing about this that is the same, So,
Bernie Moore was awesome.
Whatever.
You shut your mouth, all right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I'm gonna go on a Red Grange rant. For those like old school AFR fans, if you know, you know. All right, what do you think the future is with Zion? Like, what do you think happens here?
I honestly, maybe I'm a crazy person.
Yes.
Because I could be.
Yes.
Definitely see them ever getting offered enough to move him. And unless he has another really significant injury, and I know there's been off-the-court stuff, there's rumbling, there's always issues with his family and his camp and the team, and it's not as if it's, a smooth ship when he's out. But there is just no way I can see them ever drawing a player of his caliber to this team short of getting like the number 1 pick or hitting very lucky in the draft. And I just don't think he has the type of value around the league right now to ever command it. So I think he's going to be here for a little bit. I don't think they're going to move him. I think they're going to lose enough games regardless to get a pretty good draft pick. They're going to let Brandon Ingram either walk or trade him for something. And you restart with Zion kind of as the lone centerpiece. And that's probably what they should have done this year. And everything kind of went sideways because they didn't move Brandon Ingram. And they just have this sense of value that everything has to be extracted to its maximum gain rather than understanding sunk costs. And I do think that's going to keep Zion here. And whether that's for good or for bad, I think he's going to end up here for longer than most people are making it out to be in the present.
Scott Kushner, 45 games to go. Give me they're not going to make some like triumphant, amazing charge. I don't. Maybe you disagree. I don't think that's going to happen. But what? No, go ahead, please. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying they completely impossible, right? But they're just behind so many teams now in the standings. You're behind literally everyone in the West. And so it's like, who are you going to catch? Like, are any of these teams going to fall off from the 10th spot and be so bad that you can win enough to get? I just can't imagine that. But yeah, what they need to do is learn how to develop a team around Trey Murphy and Zion and DeJounte Murray and like do the things that you saw in spurts of the second and third quarter last night and then the end of the game. They can get to a point where they're playing. And I don't understand why Willie Green is still there. He's obviously not going to be the coach next year. It really doesn't make any sense why you wouldn't try to see these guys play under a different system, if for nothing else than just to get the view of it. But I truly cannot figure out why the Pelicans are insistent on being stuck in place with this coaching staff, or at least with Willie, for this long, because that is the one thing that I think, like, well, what would this look like? This roster, everybody thinks they have talent when they're healthy, but why can't they win at all? And would it be better if they were playing in a more up-tempo system that James Borrego, who's the lead assistant, would probably institute? And so I truly can't understand what they're doing on airline as to why they're not making that move.
It's just for whatever it's worth. The last year the Warriors were the 10 seed. They lost 36 games. The Pelicans have 30 losses right now. Like, they're not. It's not happening mathematically. So, what is any reason whatsoever to care at all the rest of the way in the season?
Yeah, I mean, development of Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, Zion Williamson, and seeing what they look like and if they can gel together. And I do think it matters. And I think it's easy to just root for losses, and that probably by the time you get to March, they're going to start systematically shutting down guys. But I do think you want to see them win some games together. They won a lot last year, mostly against bad teams, but they did win a lot last year. I think it does matter for DeJounte Murray to be a part of this team in the future. Zion obviously last night made it very, very, very clear that he wants Murray to be a part of the future. Yeah. If he's going to be a part of this team, he wants Murray to be with him. And I mean, maybe I'm nuts, but I think that kind of stuff matters. And, you know, the games are free and they're broadcast over the air, so why the heck not watch them?
Yeah. That part is actually cool. and you know what? I don't hate the City Edition Mardi Gras uniforms they were wearing last night. It's way better than the Skeletons, like the black awful thing with the skeleton thing on the court. Like what they were wearing last night was okay.
Yeah, I actually think I'm glad they didn't go back to the well on the Mardi Gras uniforms for like the 20th time.
Yeah.
I think that you needed to move on into a different genre.
I can take, like, if these were, and this kind of actually is a hat tip to the Jazz, you know, back in the New Orleans Jazz days, kind of a similar look. Like,
with the purple?
Yeah, with the purple. Like, I don't hate that. Like, I'd actually kind of prefer that permanently over the weird. Anyway, now we're talking about uniforms.
I know. Well, they have no brand. That's the problem, right? They have no brand. Nobody, like, looks at the Pelicans, like, thinks or feels anything. So that's a big part of the issue.
That's the problem?
Yeah. I think the winning would get you to the part where you cared about the brand. So it is. They got a lot of problems over there. Everything on that their 5800 airline drive is kind of a mess.
Very true. So. Scott, Tennessee will win on Saturday against Texas. That's your AFR Karma pick right here. You're welcome.
I'll be there. All right.
Happy New Year and thank you for the time.
All right. See you, Matt.
We'll
Thank you.
Thank you, man. That's Scott Kushner. We're brought to you by Supper Club. Get your reservations, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. Y'all, I'm not sure if you've looked at a calendar, and I know this is tough sometimes because we're just coming off the holidays with Christmas and New Year's, but Valentine's Day is just a little over a month away. It's February the 14th. I mean, we are a little over a month away from Valentine's Day. Get your reservations now. By the way, one of the many, many, many amazing things they do at Supper Club, custom drink toppers. I've told you about this before, but if you send them a file, like a photo, they can take that photo and turn it into a drink topper. So if you get to your table with your wife, your fiance, your girlfriend, and you want to thrill her or surprise her, maybe like a photo of your first date or whatever it may be, wedding day, like they can have that as a custom drink topper. It's those types of things, along with the world-class menu, the exceptional service, the vibe. It's all so fun. It's Supper Club. You want flowers at the table? They can arrange that for you as well. Those extras are there. So call ahead or go to the website at supperclubbtr.com. Don't wait. You know Valentine's Day is going to be crazy. Think ahead. Do it now. Supperclubbtr.com. Get your reservation. Supperclubbtr.com. Okay. Thanks to Scott. We appreciate that. Russ Mitchell in 45 minutes. We'll preview the college football playoffs. One semi tomorrow. The second semi will be on Friday. So we'll know by this weekend who's playing in the College Football Playoff National Championship. So we'll talk about that with Russ coming up here in about 45 minutes. Recap the SEC Bowl slate as well. What were his takeaways? We'll get to it. Reports that teams are interested in NFL teams are interested in hiring Bill Belichick. Could Belichick return to the NFL before ever coaching at North Carolina? We'll talk about that. And the Chicago Bears want to interview Mike McCarthy. All of this is obviously very relevant because the New Orleans Saints are trying to hire a coach. So everything that happens in this coaching carousel directly affects the New Orleans Saints. So we'll get to the latest next on AFR.
After further review.
We're brought to you by Action Industries, Action, INC.com. Action Industries Incorporated. Action Industries, they are a proud partner of LSU Athletics. Been in business since 1982, going on 43 years now. And while we talk so much about the ways that Action Industries services the petrochemical refinery markets, all those plants up and down the river, remember also the Advanced Turnaround Group. They will get in. They'll get your turnaround work done. Safety is always a priority with great quality. At Action Industries, within the Advanced Turnaround Group, they have select people working just on your turnaround. They're not taking people from other parts of the business and throwing them into the turnaround environment. No, these are people specifically working turnarounds. People know Action Industries as capital project maintenance work, but the Advanced Turnaround Group is their turnaround division. Learn more at Action Industries.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Got chores that need some extra muscle, but a large piece of equipment is overkill? That's what John Deere compact utility tractors were made for. Powerful enough for the work you need to do. Compact enough for how you need to do it. Find the equipment that's right for you at Sunshine Quality Solutions. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
Everything that happens in this NFL coaching cycle is something that we have to consider because the New Orleans Saints are trying to hire a coach. So while we are certainly not a show here that covers the entirety of the NFL day in and day out, this is a wider net we're casting because the Saints are hiring a coach, and they're one of 6 teams right now in the market for a head coach. And there's a lot of interchangeability among these jobs where a lot of coaches are being interviewed. For example, the Jets today, the Jets announced, this isn't a report, this isn't anonymous sources. The Jets announced they completed their interview with Chiefs offensive coordinator Matt Nagy. Well, Matt Nagy's a guy over the weekend that was connected with the Saints job. I'm not telling you he's going to get the job, would be a front runner or someone that you should want to have the job. I'm just telling you that that's something we got to consider because there's a lot of guys that are going to interview, and the Saints are going to interview a lot of guys that will interview at a lot of different places, and we'll see where this cycle stops spinning. The most notable candidate would be Bill Belichick. And Tom Pelissero of NFL Media reported that multiple NFL teams have inquired about whether I'm reading this tweet. Multiple NFL teams have inquired about whether legendary coach Bill Belichick would reconsider his move to college football, including the Raiders, whose new minority owner Tom Brady spoke recently with his old coach per league sources. Remember, Tom Pelissero works for NFL Media. He works for the NFL. I think his info is probably pretty good. So Brady called his old coach. Remember, Brady owns a minority stake now with the Raiders. Said, hey, coach, you want to reconsider? Maybe come back to the NFL? Go out to Vegas, coach the Raiders? Remember that Belichick's UNC contract includes a $10 million buyout. That if he leaves prior to June 1st, he would owe North Carolina $10 million. Effectively, North Carolina put this clause in there to make sure they protected themselves. So when this cycle started spinning, they didn't get left with their coach doing exactly what appears may happen. And if they do, they're going to be compensated for it. Now, for whatever it is worth, Diana Rossini, now The Athletic, reported a short time after that Bill Belichick has no plans to return to the NFL per sources. She writes, I'm told his sole focus is coaching and recruiting for North Carolina. He continues building the Tar Heels' future. He's recruiting today in New Jersey. Okay. Now, as I often say, actions speak louder than words. We'll see. I believe Bill Belichick, who interviewed for the Falcons job a year ago, would certainly have wanted to stay in the NFL, but didn't get a job a year ago. And what's to say that this cycle would come and go without him getting a job again? So he had a bird in hand with North Carolina. Took it. Wants to coach? Here's your opportunity. North Carolina put in provisions and protections to make sure he didn't jump if this cycle started spinning. But $10 million, pimple on a bee's ass to an NFL team. I mean, we see restructures. We see dead cap hits. I mean, we're talking about the Saints eating $50 million for Derek Carr potential. I'm not saying they're going to do it, but we just saw the Broncos do the same with Russ. It ain't no big deal. $10 million to a billionaire NFL owner to get the coach they want ain't nothing. So at $10 million isn't going to be the hurdle for an NFL team that it might be for a college team. Just put it to you that way. So Belichick is part of this, and we'll see how that goes. The other thing that was really interesting is what happened with the Bears and Mike McCarthy. So the Bears are looking for a coach as well, as you know. Mike McCarthy coaches the Cowboys. And Jerry Jones has said Mike McCarthy is free to talk to other teams. He said that on the record. Mike McCarthy can go talk to other teams. What Ajera apparently didn't clarify is that other teams will not be approved to talk to Mike McCarthy. The Bears, this is according to Schefter, the Bears requested permission to interview Mike McCarthy, and Jerry Jones denied the request. So, Mike, you can go talk to teams, but we're not giving other teams permission to interview you. McCarthy's contract expires in 6 days on January the 14th, at which point he's a free agent. He can go talk to whoever he wants. And at that point, the Cowboys can't prevent him from talking to anybody if they want. But are the Bears willing to wait and be patient? Don't know. That remains to be seen. I think, this is my opinion on this, on what the Bears are doing. I think the Bears, in requesting an interview with Mike McCarthy, are, in a sense, trying to force the Cowboys to show their hand. Like, you know, you're watching a football game, a team has their punt unit on the field, and then they hurriedly run the punt team off and run the offense back on. Now the defense has to scramble. What happens sometimes? Defense calls timeout. You're just trying to you're not actually going to run a play. You're just trying to force a reaction from the other team. We see it all the time. Going to be a 2-point conversion. You know, the offense goes out on the field. Defense calls the timeout. We wanted to see what formation the offense was in. Who was on the field? Are you going to be predictable by personnel? Now let's take a timeout and look. You're just trying to get them to show their hand. I think the Bears here are trying to force the Cowboys to show, are you going to retain Mike McCarthy, or are the Cowboys going to be in this hiring cycle? Because for as crazy as Jarrett can be as an owner, as unstable as the situation as that may seem, as meddling as he can be, it's still the Dallas Cowboys. They still have a franchise quarterback in Dak Prescott, who can say what you want, but he is still when he's healthy and right, franchise quarterback. They made the playoffs 3 times in 5 years under McCarthy. That's a good situation. You've got talent on the Dallas Cowboys roster. It's not perfect, but you got talent. And oh, by the way, you're in a division where the Giants stink. The Eagles are good and the Commanders are in the playoffs, but you're far from the worst in that division. So there's some attractiveness. If you're Chicago, I think you're trying to get Dallas to show their hand to see, is a 7th job going to come open? Who else are we competing with in this coaching hiring cycle? Because if the apple of everyone's eye is Ben Johnson, just hypothetically, and the Bears may have the most appealing situation. You've got the young quarterback. You've got a top 10 pick. You've got $83 million in cap space. This is a great job. Chicago is a great situation for a new coach to come into. Now, the bad is, in your division, you've got Detroit, Minnesota, and Green Bay. I don't know if you pay much attention, but Detroit, Minnesota, and Green Bay, they're all pretty good. As a matter of fact, they're all in the playoffs. And 2 of them just played as teams that were 14-2. Detroit's 15-2. Minnesota's 14-3. Those are teams in your division. And the other team, Green Bay, not too bad. They're in the playoffs as well as a 7th seed. So that's the downside of Chicago, but it's a really good gig. Would Dallas be a better job? Maybe. Would Ben Johnson be more inclined to go take the Dallas job instead of the Chicago job? Perhaps. So I think that's all this is right here. I don't think the Bears actually want to hire Mike McCarthy. I think they just want to find out, is Dallas, going to part ways with McCarthy, and are they going to join this hiring cycle? Got one rule. I have one rule above all else, the golden rule in coaching carousel season. Believe nothing, consider everything. So what happens with Belichick? Don't know. Could he go back? Could he go back to the NFL? Sure. Will he? Don't know. Believe nothing, consider everything. I'll tell you what I know to be a fact. Evermore, best water on the planet. It's a scientific fact, Muse. 60% of the time, it works every time. This is a rare alkaline source. It's natural artesian water. Maybe you're a high-level athlete. You want a better form of hydration. Maybe you want a healthier option for your family. I mean, I would go to the store, buy those 64-ounce bottles of Evermore, pour it in your Keurig. Make sure that this is the thing that you drink all the time. It's healthier for your family. It's a better source of hydration. It's a natural product. And oh, by the way, it's a Louisiana product as well. EVAMOR, Evermore.com, Evermore.com. You can find locations, retailers near you that sell Evermore on their store locator, or you can order it online at Evermore.com. EVAMOR, Evermore.com. All right, y'all. A little more than halfway home. We got Tigers and the Pros coming back to wrap up hour number 2. Our Hump Day shows, as always, are brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Very pleased and thrilled to have Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness as our new partner here in 2025. If it's hormone replacement therapy, if you suffer from erectile dysfunction, they've got products, a menu of services that can help you as a male live your fullest, most vibrant life, to restore your vitality. Let Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness help. Go to yourgoodwood.com. Lowest prices, never any contracts. Yourgoodwood.com. Okay, quick break. Muse will have Tigers and the Pros when we come back to wrap up hour number 2. We will get to the latest in the Saints coaching search, including a request to interview Kliff Kingsbury. That's coming up after the top of the hour. Russ Mitchell next hour as well. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
You know how awful it is to wake up when it's 29 degrees? Have to throw on layers of clothing, a stocking cap if you're bald because all the heat escapes through your head. Cranking up the heater 5 minutes before you leave so your car is toasty when you get in. There's a reason we live in the South, y'all. And it ain't days like today. It's because we know soon enough the sun will be shining, the weather will be warm, and we will all be swimming in our gorgeous custom swimming pools. That is unless, of course, if you don't have a gorgeous custom swimming pool. And if that's the case, you need to change that. Duplessis Builders can help. Custom swimming pools, outdoor kitchens, build your backyard paradise with Duplessis Builders. DuplessisBuilders.net. DuplessisBuilders.net.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Got chores that need some extra muscle, but a large piece of equipment is overkill? That's what John Deere compact utility tractors were made for. Powerful enough for the work you need to do. Compact enough for how you need to do it. Find the equipment that's right for you at Sunshine Quality Solutions. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine.
Further review with Matt Moscona.
Wrapping up hour number 2. Jimmy did send Otterlocks. We've got 3 picks. We'll get to Otterlocks next hour, but I believe Hunt is getting those posted up at LouisianaSports.net. So remember, you can always get Otterlocks for free at LouisianaSports.net. Everything always for free at LouisianaSports.net. Muso, Tigers and the Pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right, the Vegas Raiders have signed Ovie Oghoufo
to
a reserve
former
futures,
Texas Longhorn, Ovie Oghoufo.
And former LSU Tiger. Yeah, he played. Yep.
Did he really?
Yes, he did. Reserve futures contract. Most recently with the Giants, but was waived from injured reserve with a hamstring issue prior to the start of the regular season. Now, of course, said will be with the Raiders. Interesting because another former Tiger could be on his way out in, almost said in Oakland, in Vegas. That's K'Lavon Chaisson, who had a really nice end of the season with the Raiders, but is set to enter free agency in 2025, so they might need some help there at edge. Ovie Ogofu could be the answer there. Tari Eason missed his 10th consecutive game last night when the Wizards visited the Rockets, but Rockets head coach Ime Udoka on Sports Radio 610 in Houston did give an update, said that he's hopeful Eason could return Thursday when the Rockets travel up to Memphis. It's a left leg injury that has kept Tari out for, as I said, 10 consecutive games. Naz Reid was on the floor for the Timberwolves last night against the Pelicans, and it's a good thing he was. He had a double-double, 13 and 12 for Naz in 23 minutes, 6 of 16 from the floor. Very impressive. Javonte Smart earlier today dropped 23 in the G League. Have a day, Javonte Smart. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com. Gentlemen, we are a little more than a month away from Valentine's Day. Thrill her this Valentine's Day with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Not sure what to get? Let them help you. lmfj.com. You go to the website, get great ideas there, or just walk in to any of their 9 locations. 2 in Baton Rouge, Corporate Boulevard in Bocage, Mall of Louisiana, New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, and always online at lmfj.com. This Valentine's Day, be a hero. Thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. lmfj.com. Okay, y'all, it is After Further Review. I'm glad you're hanging with us. When we come back, the New Orleans Saints want to have a chat with Kliff Kingsbury. No, really, like they want to interview Kliff Kingsbury to be the head coach. Stop laughing, Muse. I'm serious. It says it right there. It's news. It's on the internet. It's science. It has to be true. Russ Mitchell as well next hour. Stay here. Hour 3 of AFR coming up right after SportsCenter.
AFR.
We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com. Highly, highly, highly recommend. Listen, eye care, eyewear, eye surgery. Having your annual eye exam, Williamson Eye Center. First of the year is a good time to think about that if you haven't done it. If you wear contacts or glasses, they can sell you your frames, your lenses, they do all that. But also refractive surgery. It'll start with that consultation. That free consultation is not a sales pitch. This is just an information gathering session. You will talk to Kyle, who is the consultant. She does an awesome job. You could do this virtually if you want. You're certainly welcome to come in and meet with her face-to-face. But if you want to do it on a phone call while you drive to work, while you drive home, during your lunch break, a Zoom call, it's that easy. That's the first step. Get information to see what your options are, and then you'll meet with Dr. Blake Williamson. By the way, they always have options to make sure that you're not worried about paying. 24 months of 0% deferred interest. It's there for you at the Williamson Eye Center.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Kingsbury. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment. Dave's back on. Coors Light. Choose chill.
This is Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. The NFL is monitoring the devastating wildfires across several areas of Los Angeles and the potential impact on Monday night's NFC wildcard game between the Vikings and Rams in L.A. The Chargers, who are at Houston for Saturday's AFC wildcard game, altered their practice schedule today to limit players' time outdoors. The NHL postponed tonight's Flames-Kings game because of the wildfires. Marquee matchup in the NBA tonight, East and league-leading Cavaliers and the West-leading Thunder. OKC's been winning in a unique way this season, explains ESPN senior writer Andre Snellings.
They've had a big man injured all season, right? Early in the season, Isaiah Hartenstein was out, and so it was just Chet Holmgren holding it down in the middle. Then Holmgren got hurt, Hartenstein came back, and now it's just him by himself. I feel like that's going to work to Cleveland's advantage tonight. They have two legitimate all-star caliber big men in the middle.
Andre Snellings on Freddie and Harry. The Thunder's won 15 straight games. Cavs have won 10 straight. ESPN coverage in 1 hour from Cleveland.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. And now a Progressive ad brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Drivers who switch to Progressive could save big with Progressive. This has been a Progressive ad from Progressive. See if you could save at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE or Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Musso. And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. Oh, by the way, it's a hump day.
It's hump day.
Let's hump, everybody.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Sorry, I had to send a text. I am not trying to suggest that what was going on my text line is more important than you, the dear audience.
It's hump day.
But it was something directly related to the segment we're about to do.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
So I felt obligated to reply.
It's hump day.
Francisco retired?
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Knew that. But now it's sort of official.
It's hump day.
Because he restructured his deal.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Opening the door.
Hump day.
For retirement.
It's hump day.
LSU pursuing another offensive tackle in the portal.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Out of Montana State.
Hump day.
Remember when Cartman said Montana?
It's hump day.
Let's get that drop, Muse.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Cartman saying Montana.
Hump day.
Because if they get the kid from Montana State,
it's hump day.
I want Cartman saying...
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Montana.
Hump day.
Okay. The thing we do where I pause and you hit the drop. Okay, let's just move on. We only do it twice a Wednesday, every Wednesday, where I pause and you hit the drop.
Right. And then
Pause,
you always go, okay, and that's the end of it, so I didn't hit the drop again.
I was saying okay because you didn't hit the drop when I paused. You didn't hit the drop when I paused, which is why I said okay. Let's just move on. With the coaching Russ Mitchell in 10 minutes. Coaching carousel in the NFL spinning, and there's national people, there's local people. There's always just a lot going on with these, and they're sometimes a tough to follow everything. The Saints head coaching tracker, the full tracker is up at LouisianaSports.net. So we're keeping a running tracker of every report that's out there. So if you want everything sort of consolidated in one space, go to LouisianaSports.net, Saints coaching tracker, and you'll see it right there. It's everything that's being reported chronologically. There's reports, there's confirmations, and then there's rumors. So it's all there. One that there's a couple on Wednesday that were reported that were really interesting. Early Wednesday, actually I believe it was late Tuesday, Davis Webb, who's the offensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos, is one that was reported that the Saints would have interest in speaking with. That was later refuted by Nick Underhill. And then Josina Anderson tweeted that she was told at least 4 teams have expressed interest in talking with Kliff Kingsbury about their head coaching vacancy. And among those 4 that she listed were the New Orleans Saints. Now, that was another one that has now been refuted to suggest that the Saints aren't one of the 4. But what do you... This is where it's hard to tell what do you believe, who do you believe. It's why I always say believe nothing, consider everything. Josina Anderson's report is that she said, I'm told the Saints and Bears are the 2 teams that have officially requested interviews with Commanders OC Kliff Kingsbury. I'll go with that as legitimate. Josina Anderson is a very reputable NFL reporter, and she's citing sources saying that the Bears and the Saints are the 2 that have officially requested an interview with Kingsbury. I'm going to come back to Kingsbury because I do think that of the ones I'm about to discuss is the most significant, most interesting. But the Saints have announced they have conducted their interview with Dolphins DC Anthony Weaver. There is a report from ESPN's Jeremy Fowler that the Saints will interview Mike Kafka, the offensive coordinator for the New York Giants. And then, as we mentioned, there was the Davis Webb report, which has since been refuted. But again, what do we really know? What do we believe at this point? I think the Kliff Kingsbury report is the most interesting. So my contention in talking about this Saints coaching search is that I want a young, offensive-minded head coach, preferably from the Shanahan-McVay tree. The NFL is a copycat league. That's the direction the league is going, and there's a lot of coaches that have had success. From Shanahan in San Francisco, McVay with the Rams, Kevin O'Connell with the Vikings, especially guys that have a great knowledge of how to develop the quarterback position. I think that is imperative. You got to have a great quarterback and great quarterback production in the NFL to be great in 2020, in 2025 and beyond. So you get someone who is great at that, then you're never beholden to one guy. For example, we could certainly look at the Lions, who are awesome this year. They're the 1 seed in the NFC. Ben Johnson's been great. Dan Campbell's been a great culture guy. And they've certainly maximized Jared Goff. What if Ben Johnson leaves? What happens there? I mean, is it fair to say, like, look at what Matt Ryan was with Kyle Shanahan when he was an MVP and had the Falcons in the Super Bowl with a 28-3 lead that they blew? And then look what Matt Ryan was like after Shanahan. There are examples of that all over. So I think that's something that'll be an interesting test case if and or when Ben Johnson leaves Detroit. You don't have that question if your head coach is the guy who's calling the offense and developing the quarterback, which is why that's appealing to me. Now, I have said I don't want to retread. And Kingsbury has been a head coach before. However, it feels like it's a bit of an asterisk because he's still a young coach. And he is still at least the offensive-minded young coach. And the other thing, too, is while I think a lot of us have our opinions made of Kliff Kingsbury, they were made because of his time in college, not his time in the NFL. Kliff Kingsbury in the NFL Kliff Kingsbury as a college head coach had a very low ceiling at Texas Tech. Because in Lubbock, pre-NIL, you were never going to have a roster good enough to compete at the highest level. I mean, Mike Leach was an amazing coach that 1 year with Michael Crabtree in that really special season had Texas Tech knocking on the door. But largely what you had was a lot of 6 and 7 loss seasons. He went 8-5, 4-8, 7-6, 5-7, 6-7, 5-7. He was 35-40 overall during his time in Lubbock. And quite honestly, he probably cared more about his social life than he did about recruiting 17 and 18-year-old kids to come play football for him. The NFL is a completely different world. He gets the Arizona job, and I think we look at it and we go, man, he got fired in Arizona. He didn't work as an NFL coach. Not exactly. Kliff Kingsbury actually did well in Arizona. Year one, they were 5-10-1. Inherited a bad situation. It wasn't great. Year two, they go 8-8. He went from 5-10-1 to 8-8 to 11-6. And they went to the playoffs. They lost the Rams the wild card round. And yes, they struggled late in that season. And then in 2022, they went 4-13 and he got fired. You could say, well, look, they slumped at the end of 21 and then they were terrible in 22. That's true, but Kyler Murray also tore his ACL. And I don't care what franchise you are, you lose your starting quarterback, it's probably not going to go great. Yes, there are exceptions. Sam Darnold this year, but what did we really expect from a rookie in J.J. McCarthy? I could think back to 2008, the New England Patriots, when Brady got hurt. Matt Castle led him to an 11-win season. Greatest franchise in the history of the NFL. Greatest dynasty in the history of the NFL. My point is, I think Kliff Kingsbury was a pretty good coach. He's a really good offensive coach. And he gets a lot of credit for what he's done this year with rookie Jaden Daniels. So could I see a world where the Saints hire Kliff Kingsbury and you pair Kliff Kingsbury with Spencer Rattler to see if he can maximize a young quarterback with that dual threat skill set, the big arm, the mobility, build an offense around him? Yeah, I could. And to be very frank, I would like to see what the Saints offense would look like with Spencer Rattler behind a healthy offensive line with your full complement of receivers and Taysom Hill and Alvin Kamara and the whole works. We didn't get a fair judge of what Spencer Rattler could be because he was playing with a preseason roster. I'm not endorsing Kliff Kingsbury as like my top candidate. I'm just saying if they're serious and this is a direction they go, I wouldn't hate it. Because he is a good offensive coach in the NFL. He is a good quarterback coach. He's got the record to prove that. Can he be a high-level, playoff-caliber culture guy in the NFL? I don't know that. I don't know that we have enough sample of that. But he's a much better NFL fit than he was a college fit at Texas Tech, where the ceiling was going to be low no matter who was coaching that team. I get it, man. There's going to be a lot of people who look at Kliff, and you see the beach pictures with his shirt off with the co-eds and all that stuff, and I get it. And you can ask legitimately, is that the culture that you want to welcome into your organization as your head coach? And we can legitimately have that conversation. But if we're having a football conversation about offensive football in 2025 in the NFL, You could do much worse than Kliff Kingsbury. All right, it's After Further Review. Brought to you by First South Farm Credit. Thinking of buying land? Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Go to firstsouthland.com. That's firstsouthland.com for First South Farm Credit. 2025, you're thinking of buying that timberland maybe as an investment property. Talk to your CPA to see if that could be a great decision for you financially. And then call First South Farm Credit. If you're thinking of buying land, do what Louisianians have done for more than 100 years. Call First South Farm Credit. Go to firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com. All right, it's After Further Review. College football playoffs semifinals get underway Thursday. We've got Texas, Ohio State from the Cotton Bowl on Friday. We've got Notre Dame against Penn State down in Miami on Thursday. It all gets kicked off, and we'll preview those games with Russ Mitchell of College Football News when we return on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery, y'all. Clegg's Nursery. Get on by any of the 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Yeah, the weather's cold. A lot of us are spending this time indoors right now. But winters in Louisiana aren't so bad. And the spring will be here before you know it. And actually, the winter, when the weather is cold, is the perfect time for certain types of planting, like fruit trees, citrus trees. Great time right now to plant any type of citrus tree. So get them by Clegg's Nursery, where they got a great selection. Or maybe what you need are the products to help maintain your yard, your garden during these cold weather months. If you need things to protect against the freeze, of course, Clegg can help. Or if you need tips to help protect your flowers, your plants, your trees, and shrubs against deep freezes and cold weather, Clegg's can help there as well. They've got Johnny Naylor seeds. They've got great accessories. They've got everything you want to take care of your lawn and garden. It's Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local. Tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Got chores that need some extra muscle, but a large piece of equipment is overkill? That's what John Deere compact utility tractors were made for. Powerful enough for the work you need to do. Compact enough for how you need to do it. Find the equipment that's right for you at Sunshine Quality Solutions. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep.
After further review with Matt Moscona, Russ Mitchell.
Kicking the tires and lighting the fires. Russ! Literally.
Well, I'm proud of Russ. I think Russ deserves it.
It's football! Rusty, come on up here. Absolutely, I thought that was going to happen because it's state. It's supposed to happen.
You know, I haven't had much of a chance to talk to you man to man, Russ.
How are things out there at DBU?
I want you to stay here and take care of things, Russ.
The only way you can point up is up.
Not going in our yard, Russ. It's going in our living room.
It's like Troy.
Can't see the line, can you, Russ?
Put your foot on his throat and choke him out.
Take it, Russ.
Happy New Year, Russ Mitchell. How are you?
Oh, I'm kicking the tires, lighting the fires, but I'm sick. So,
oh no!
But I'm here, baby. I'm here.
Playing hurt, our guy, with his wonderful Parish Construction and Roofing hat. Do business with someone you know. Parish Construction and Roofing. Visit parishbuilt.com.
Nice hat.
It's a
I
beautiful
very
hat.
rarely wear hats, but when I do, I wear the Parish hat.
Hey, we got a college football playoff semifinal Thursday and Friday. Let's talk about those two in this segment. Then we'll sort of talk about LSU, the SEC, is their dominance over the bowls, stuff, all that coming up in the next segment. But with Notre Dame and Penn State, I don't know where do you want to start there? I think the Notre Dame, whether or not the Notre Dame offense can get going is probably the biggest question here. What say you?
Well, you're right. I mean, first of all, it's two great. This is a great matchup, man. I mean, this is going to be fun. I don't trust Riley Leonard's arm at all.
Yeah.
So, set several single season rushing records as a quarterback, but his arm is poo. And, Penn State's got the 6th best rushing defense in the nation. And, if you're going to count on Price and Love to pick up the slack for that rushing effort, Love just banged up his knee against Georgia. And I hear at Indiana, he's not going to look very good in this game. So that puts it all on Price and Leonard because they're going to have to run the ball. I mean, Singleton's kind of banged up a little for Penn State too, but he carried the ball 12 times in the Fiesta Bowl. So I think he's okay. So I'm worried about Notre Dame's ability to be able to run against the 6th best rushing defense in the nation in Penn State.
And if they can't run and Leonard has to throw, that's a problem. But you flip it around, and Notre Dame's defense has been so good, Russ. And we saw that Penn State offense really struggle against Ohio State. So when you look at that side of the ball, how do you make sense of that?
Well, and again, with Singleton being banged up, if he is banged up, I mean, that's key. But, you saw him and Allen run the ball really well. I'm not as worried, excuse me, I'm not as worried flip the other way because, Riley Mills is out on that defensive line. He's led the team in sacks and tackles for loss, and he's out with the knee. Howard Cross is probably going to be out or certainly injured. He's banged up. That's it. Those are the two leaders you got on that defensive line. And here comes, Singleton and Allen, who I think they averaged 8 and 7 yards respectively in the Fiesta Bowl per carry. So I think that this what had the potential to be a really good matchup with the injuries to Notre Dame, with Love on the running side and Mills and Cross on the defensive side. Those are, it's hard to lose people, but those are like 3 key players that they need for this game, and they're all hurt.
How do you think it goes?
I think James Franklin knows how to play again. These are 2 very, very evenly ranked programs historically. They're 9-1. And, I expect it to be a slugfest. I expect it to be my kind of football. I expect it to be ugly and lots of hitting. And I like like Penn State. I think Franklin will make it to his first championship game.
Okay. I don't know if you agree with me. I think the national champion will come out of the other half of the semifinal with Ohio State and Texas, whoever wins that one. I tend to lean with you there on Penn State as well. So when you go down to Dallas, or actually up to Dallas, which, by the way, one more, do you think Notre Dame is disadvantaged at all by having 2 less days to prepare?
No.
Okay.
It was more like 18 hours, I mean, and I like what I think given everything that happened, everything worked out about as good as it could have. Yeah,
they of course playing the game, the Sugar Bowl in the middle of the day, but Penn State did play on New Year's Eve, and so it was really a day and a half, but still it's less time. I mean it's something that warrants a conversation anyway. What about so Ohio State and Texas? I don't know, Russ, if Ohio State plays the way that they did their first 2 playoff games, hard to see anybody beating them, but the question is can they keep that up?
Well, I mean, we watched Ohio State all year, and they're pretty good for 2 steps forward, 1 steps back throughout the entire season. So they've had 2 great steps forward, right? So are they going to take a step back now? Crushed Tennessee, crushed Oregon. I don't even think those 2 teams realized that there was a game before Ohio State had pretty much ended it. Tennessee was giving up less than 20 points a game. The only team that got more than that was Georgia in Georgia and got 30, and Ohio State rolled to 40 and was probably being kind. They probably could have pushed it over 60 the way they were dominating Tennessee. I think, I've spent a lot of time prepping for this game because, again, I like you, I think the champion comes out of this game. But the thing is, it's all about what Texas must do, right? Texas must take away the run. The Longhorns rank, 3 in the nation in run defense. And they've got to lean on that. But, even against Oregon, Ohio State was able to average 5 yards a carry. So I think this is the best opportunity for Texas. Of all the things they got to do, they got to take away the run. They can't keep turning the ball over. They rank 126 in the country turning the ball over. They turn the ball over too much. And, they got to be able to figure out a way to run against OSU. OSU's got the 5th best run defense in the country. And in Texas's only 2 losses against Georgia, they managed just 29 yards and 31 yards. So I can tell you what's going to happen in this game. They're not going to be able to run the ball. And if they can't run the ball, then they're going to lose.
So how do you see it go?
I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball. There's nothing about how they've played against, elite teams. And they've had a fairly easy schedule. So, you look at those 2 Georgia defenses that they had to run, those front sevens, and they managed 29 yards and 31 rushing yards. So, and if they can't have a balanced offense, if they put too much pressure on Ewers. By the way, if you're a general manager in the NFL and you can hear my voice wherever you are right now, don't draft Ewers. I think you'll regret that decision.
He may be coming back to college, a pretty hefty payday, which would make a lot of sense, man. If you got more value in college, you're seeing veteran guys stay in college, getting bigger NIL deals.
I'm not saying he's not a good college quarterback. And you know how I feel about this. I don't care what happens in the NFL, although it's a lot of fun watching Jaden. Jaden is actually must-see TV. Like, I find myself, you were kind enough to help out Kim and I when we came out. I brought my wife to her first LSU game, believe it or not. And she got to see Jaden beat Florida because everybody likes to watch a good Gators butt whipping. And even she wants to watch Jaden Daniels in the NFL. But normally I don't care about what happens in the NFL. All I care about is their college careers. And yours has had a decent college career. But I think they have a better chance with Manning. I'd play Manning. Get him the experience.
I don't know that we're going to see Manning in this game. But
no, I don't either.
Ohio State, about a 6-point favorite in this ballgame. Probably an inflated line, actually. An overreaction to Ohio State blowing out Oregon and Texas going to double overtime against Arizona State. So maybe some value there with Texas in the points. But
I disagree. What do you think? How many points?
There's value. Like there's value. I mean, this happens. That's an inflated line because of its recency bias. It happens all the time in odds making. I'm not saying Ohio State won't cover the number, but if you're just looking for value, there is value. I mean, that line should probably be closer to 2. If you're just looking at point spread value.
How many points do you think Texas scores?
Oh, I think this is a game in the mid upper 20s.
Yeah, I don't think Texas gets to 20.
Okay. Well, if they don't get to 20, they got a real problem on their hands, man.
Yeah,
but I do think
so.
They've got explosive athletes, man. I think they can stretch Ohio State on the outside. My bigger question is, can Texas defensively stop Ohio State's athletes on the outside who, man, they have looked really good those last 2 games. So you've got an Ohio State-Penn State rematch for the national championship?
I do.
Okay.
And I'm not a rematch fan, but I think that's how it shapes out.
Well, we may see more and more with the playoff now, the way it's playing out. Russ Mitchell's with us. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. Russ, courtesy of Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com. When we come back, I want to get his thoughts on LSU. We haven't talked to Russ since before LSU played in the bowl game, so I want to get Russ's thoughts on how LSU finished the season. The SEC, which everyone sort of is asking the question now, is SEC dominance over? This will be back-to-back years if Texas doesn't win it, that the league will not have won a national championship. Have we seen that backslide? Have the rest of the country caught up? I'll get Russ's thoughts on that as we continue. It is AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan, injury attorneys. Of course, one of the reasons that the Tigers have done so well in the NIL front is Gordon and the G team. Gordon is giving great opportunities, not just to Tiger athletes, but athletes both in men's and women's sports at colleges and universities all over the state of Louisiana. Gordon McKernan, injury attorneys. Get Gordon and get it done. Always encourage you to go to the website, but also you go to GordonGives.com. Gordon Gives is the charitable arm of Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, and Gordon always says he and his family have been so blessed. He loves to give back to the communities that they serve, and so that's how they do it. There's so many charitable endeavors with Gordon Gives. You want to learn more about the many charities and organizations that they serve, you can do so. GordonGives.com, GordonGives.com. But as we always tell you, if you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Don't go it alone. You need representation. You can trust Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys all over the state of Louisiana. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
Rolling along, glad you're with us here on this Hump Day edition of AFR, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. All of our guests appear via the jimsfirearms.net hotline, although Russ Mitchell is here on a Zoom call, so we can actually see him there, that wonderful Parish Construction and Roofing hat. So I want to get to the rest of the playoff and some other big picture topics, but you and I haven't spoken since LSU whooped up on Baylor. Reaction, takeaway to that game?
Well, Baylor's just a cousin, so I was very happy to see LSU beat them up.
Baylor was a cousin?
In the family, they're not a family. They're a very distant cousin, so we can enjoy beating them up. The first thing that I would say is it was clear that it's one of those games where you're watching it and Baylor had no real business being on the field with LSU. LSU was bigger, faster, really dominated the game. Fast start. It was 28-7. Like within 20 minutes, LSU had more points than there were minutes played. Some big plays. You got the pick six. You had the kickoff for a TD. The offense had a great day. I'd still like to see a little more running, but Nuss looked spectacular, and the defense, they were okay. They had some key stops, which was nice to see. It's very balanced. So for an exhibition game with not playing with all your horses, I thought it was good.
LSU was a bright spot in the bowl season for the SEC, but Russ, when you look up and down the ledger, Illinois beat South Carolina, Michigan beat Bama, Notre Dame beat Georgia, Ohio State beat Tennessee, Navy beat Oklahoma, Southern Cal beat Texas A&M. There's a lot of people out there, the sort of narrative about the SEC is that the league just isn't very good and that the rest of college football caught up to or past the SEC. What's your thought on that, the big picture conversation about the league right now?
Yeah, I think it's silly. First of all, the bowl seasons never really mattered that much to begin with. Now they really don't matter because unless you're in a key game, there's so many kids that are moving around. A quarter of kids entered the portal. I mean, it's like, that's a lot. So there's just too much movement, and then kids are sitting because they don't want to risk hurting themselves if they have a good NFL chance. So, I don't care. I'm far more concerned about how out of conference games turn out during the regular season. And there, the SEC does pulls more than its fair share of water.
That's fair.
So I'm not worried about that. If I'm worried about anything, my argument for the SEC, particularly during its dominance, right, since let's say 2005, and they started winning, I think it was 2006, right, with Florida.
Florida 06, but man, you could even go back to Tennessee 98, LSU 03. Right. But yes.
Up until, my argument for the SEC was that the toughest teams, the toughest steel is forged by the hottest fire. And, you can, within that environment, you can find the best team. Then we went to 14 teams in 2012, and that spread out. Now we're at 16 teams where you can be in the conference but not play anybody, like Texas or like Indiana. And I think that you find the better teams when you make them all beat each other up to see who the winner is. And I think that we've expanded so far within our conference that it's going to be harder to find that.
So do you think, so really the question then becomes about expansion of the schedule, because Russ, I mean, that's always the convo is, do you go to 9 league games? Well, if you go to 9 league games, you're guaranteeing half your league another loss. That wouldn't stand to make sense then, if based on what you're saying. Like, why would you guarantee your league, half your league a loss?
Because we're talking about the fact that we still, if it works out properly, then the better team should be winning, and and so it's another win for your 5 or 6 your better teams that are playing those extra games. I'm not worried about that. I think that we run the risk of teams going through. I think another issue too is that with NIL, you can't stock as deep players. So then now you're starting to get to 14 games, 15 games, 16 games, even further down, and you can't have as deep of a roster. I think that's part of the issue. I think other teams, but for example, I really like what LSU has done in the portal. I mean, it's magnificent what the players that they brought in. I would argue that LSU will have a better roster next year, if they can keep everybody healthy through the year.
There's no doubt. I mean, they've added at least 7 starters already via the portal. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Has anybody ever done? I always argued that, I watch a lot of football, a stupid amount of football.
Good.
I know, like 30 to 40 games a week. Like, I watch a lot of football around the conference, around the country, different. I think they play great football everywhere. Everywhere there's good football, but the most physical football I see week in and week out for the last 20 years is played south of Ohio and east of New Mexico. That's the toughest football I've seen. I would love to see a study done on, and I'm not doing it, but I would love to see a study done on the number of injuries that happen in the SEC versus other conferences, because I bet it's higher.
I'm sure ChatGPT can help you out or something like that.
No, you can't trust ChatGPT for anything.
Trust
Wikipedia. You type in anything, and half the time it gives you an answer that it's as confident as my teenager, and then you look it up, and then it's totally wrong.
We hit a nerve. I love that so much. I didn't know you were anti-AI. Are you anti-AI?
No, I love AI.
Me too.
But I mean, anybody that thinks it's our savior or the answer to something is an idiot.
Well, this show is actually AI. I am not really here. This is just an artificial intelligence mock of my voice and likeness.
I've always wondered how you sound so smart on the air when I see you in person.
Weird.
So now I understand.
Now you get it, man. It's all just been a hoax all along. Hey, do you think, if I asked you SEC next year, buying or selling, if you were buying stock on someone and selling stock on someone in the SEC, what teams would you say?
Well, I don't know a lot about buying stock, but if I was going to be buying teams in the SEC, I would pick LSU first with the roster that they've just gone out and got themselves. With Nussmeier, and I hope he's just taking one online basket weaving class next year, or online two-stepping or whatever, and he can have his computer behind him like this, and he can spend 8 hours in the operations building just going back and forth. That's as long as he's doing that, and the Tigers have the roster they have, then it reminds me of 2019. It reminds me of Jaden's final year, and I would put the Tigers near the top against anybody.
What about the other side? Maybe a team that you think takes a significant step back in 2025?
It's interesting. I would say Alabama, but now that they pissed down their leg in the ReliaQuest Bowl.
How about that?
That's a direct quote from an AI-generated thing.
That was part of last week's Bama is Burning, for those that missed it.
That was the best Bama is Burning you've done all year.
You say that every time I do one.
No, but this one really was the best one.
So I just keep doing. It keeps getting better and better, is what you're saying?
Well, this last one was definitely the best one.
That's so good. I'd love to hear that.
I would say I expect Alabama to take the biggest step back, except that they lost 4 games this year. They not only they lose 4 games, 16-point favorites to Michigan, 20-point favorites to Oklahoma, something like it.
I think it was 23 against Vandy. Wasn't it 17? What was it, Muse?
There were 14-point favorites against Oklahoma, 23-point favorites against Vandy, and 16.5-point favorites against Michigan.
It's incredible. They just stopped and laughed.
Hey, that's just so bad.
And throw in Tennessee as well. I mean, I think they were a road dog in that game, but still, it's
3.5-point favorite.
Oh, they were a favorite.
They were a
okay, I
road
didn't realize they were a road
3.5.
favorite. Were they? No, they had already lost. They'd already lost to Vandy at that point. Yes, they weren't a point.
Didn't Nick Saban go like 60 years? He was favored in every game for 60 years or something like that. And now,
yeah, they were a dog against Georgia, and then after they blew out Georgia, and then they went forever without being a dog again.
Vegas is going to have to adjust.
Oh yeah,
just like all the people who didn't listen to you when you first started talking about that at the beginning of the year.
Nobody can accuse me of dogpiling, man. I was there. You and I were on air the day Nick retired, and I danced around this like a jackass. And now everybody can see why. And Russ, I said at the time, man, it was I had not had that feeling since Steve Spurrier left Florida, when you knew it was just never going to be the same, man. The stranglehold he had was over. It could never possibly match what it was. And you're seeing it manifest, man. They're going to be bad next year. But I'll tell you, the other one is Ole Miss. Ole Miss was all in this year. And they can go back in the portal again, Russ, but boy, they're losing a ton from a very talented football team.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And it's difficult, you can dig into the portal, but if you're not bringing in freshmen, and it's okay if you bring in 25 freshmen and at least half of them develop and move on, then you can supplement, right? You can try to do that, but you got to be bringing them in. I'm not terribly sure that they've done that great of a job of recruiting their high school classes. So
fair.
You can't just drop guys in for 1 year, an entire roster each year, because then it's going to get harder and harder to get freshmen to come to your school, because they're going to be like, why do I come if you're just going to put in 12 guys who are going to start above us?
Well, we'll have all offseason talk about that. I know you're going to go into hibernation, but there's still 3 more games before you do, and we're looking forward to all of them. What's that?
Hey, I'm done. I won't be around next week, so this is my last show for the year.
Well, it's your first show of the year.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We'll talk to you in the fall. Maybe you can make some type of appearance out of hibernation if something really significant happens.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
All right, Russ. We appreciate it. Russ Mitchell, college football news presented by Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com. Hey, we're at parishbuilt.com. You can also find Parish Restoration. Kill mold, remove odor. It's the patented non-toxic dry fog treatment that we tell you about all the time. For your home, for your office building, for your church, school, medical facility. Go to parishbuilt.com, hit the restoration tab, and that's where you'll find Parish Restoration. Maybe you got odor. Maybe it's an old building with a musty smell. Maybe it's a mildew smell. Maybe it's a workout facility with that sweat smell. Maybe it's a smell from, maybe you bought a home from a smoker or pet odor. This patented non-toxic dry fog can eliminate that odor as well. Go to parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com, hit the restoration tab, Parish Construction and Roofing, and Parish Restoration, parishbuilt.com. All right, y'all, one thing left to do. Not going to final break, come back. We'll do auto locks. Jimmy sent pics. I don't know if he's going to be with us. Maybe we could try. He sent us the pics, so I don't know if he wants us just to go through them or if he'll be on, but we'll see. Either way, we'll get you auto locks when we come back. In the event that Jimmy's not on the phone, if you want to do an Ask Us, you can fire away. You can email us, tweet us, or text us questions in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. We'll wrap up with auto locks next.
After further review.
As we're pushing off from the dock here in a new year, if you're a business owner, let these words ring in your ears. Glow Resources, complete employer solutions. If you're a business owner and for whatever reason you've struggled to find the right people to make your business operate at max efficiency, Glow Resources can help. Maybe you've used a third party before. It's not like this. Glow Resources, the net that they cast among their giant network is so wide and vast, but also precise, that they guarantee they're going to get you the best result. So much so that if the employee they find for you doesn't work, they'll give you a prorated refund or they'll find you another employee for free. They got a 96% success rate. Let Glow Resources help you. Glow Resources. GLO, glowresources.com.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Got chores that need some extra muscle, but a large piece of equipment is overkill? That's what John Deere compact utility tractors were made for.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
Down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Hump Day edition of AFR, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. Lowest prices, never any contracts, men, if you're battling with or need hormone replacement therapy, not feeling your younger, vibrant self. Maybe you're a candidate for hormone replacement therapy. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Simple blood test can let you know if you're a candidate for HRT, and also ED treatments as well. Guys, our lives were meant to be fulfilled and abundant and awesome. There's no sense being sick and tired or going through life feeling sick and tired. Feel your best. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness can help. Go to yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. All right, Autolocks, hit it.
Autolocks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
All right. Otter did send his picks. He's got a 3-pack, and I'll tell you what. Our guy is on a little bit of a heater right now. Randy McKay gave us the FCS playoff pick a couple nights ago with North Dakota State, which won outright. Last night, the Otter had a couple of basketball plays for us, like Georgia at home with the points against Kentucky, won outright. And he also gave was North Carolina. Who's the other one?
Michigan,
which hit as well. So, right, a little bit of a heater, man. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Otter's got 3 plays today. I regret to inform you, however, that the first play, which was DePaul +3, tipped off at 5:30, which is why you should go to LouisianaSports.net and get Otter Locks at LouisianaSports.net. It's free there, and it's going to be posted before we do this segment every day. So Otter gave you DePaul +3. For what it's worth, DePaul is up early. They're just about the halfway point of the first half, Muse. DePaul up 22-13.
That's what I'm seeing, too.
Yeah, an early 9-point lead. I wouldn't ask. I was telling you.
I'm
looking at it right here. 22-15. But early lead for DePaul. That in-game line now is wait, that can't be right.
3.5 is what I'm seeing from DePaul. -3.5 DePaul.
This is showing +2.
What?
Something must have happened. That's weird. Oh, no, I got DePaul +2.
There it is. Yeah,
I played DePaul +2, and I didn't even get the +3. Yeah, so DePaul's now -3.5, so no value there. The other two, get in on them. A couple other college basketball plays. Yoder likes Ole Miss +3.5 and Illinois -9. I'm checking to see if those might have been updated.
Ole Miss is still 3.5.
Good. And then, so Ole Miss getting 3.5. And then Illinois is 9.5 against Penn State. Ole Miss is at Arkansas. Interesting, Arkansas is they obviously have a well-known coach in John Calipari, and they got a couple of guys that are going to play in the NBA. But boy, they're a team that probably is a bit overrated right now. So I like that play. That is a game at Bud Walton Arena. A tough place to go play. But Ole Miss on the road, that's LSU's next opponent, incidentally. So Ole Miss and Illinois are the other two if you want to get in on them. Those are your Otter Locks. All right, we're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. SouthPointVW.com. In the market for a new vehicle or might be certified pre-owned as well. Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer is South Point Volkswagen. Check them out online at SouthPointVW.com or go test drive one today. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? Paulie, what did you learn today?
I learned Calandro sold its Perkins Road location.
Where you been? That's been more than a week. Muse, what'd you learn?
Oh, Zion's best return yet.
Yeah, man.
After further review.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about